Basically, what they do is what I put to life on my radio show. But today, it does take a lot of guts. It takes a lot of determination. And I want you guys to give yourself a great hand, because the determination that you had to grow your business is what got you here. So I think all of you guys deserve a great hand. And if you can give yourself a great hand, that would be great. Because this is what we are all about. It's to help each other, to unite. And I'm going to start by saying I did start. I had a dream to put a radio station, because when I got here to this country in 2001, I listened to all the radio stations, and coming from, like she said, coming from a family of politicians, coming from a family that fought for Latinos, for art, for culture, as designers, as musicians, and I never saw them getting credited as Latinos. I never saw nobody acknowledging them as to who they were. We see Bob Dylan, and nobody knew that the Mexican right next to him, the music director, was Mexican, and that's my cousin. So in a way, I was kind of determined to expose a lot of our successful Latinos that are worldwide, and that's what I wanted to do with the radio. I woke up, I'm a single mom of 4, now I'm a grandmother, so it did take passion. I woke up with a lot of passion, and I think that's number one rule that was for me. I fell in love with my passion. Once I fell in love with my passion, I had determination to do. And what I did, and I think a lot of Latinos that were afraid to knock, like Dr. Uribe said, we're afraid to knock, we're afraid to ask, and we're afraid to go out there and try to open up doors for ourselves. And it is hard. It is hard, but I didn't give up. I went in and I got on an airplane. I went to Televisa, I knocked the doors, and I knocked hard, and I got in. And I sat there with top executives that taught me the secrets to being in show business. And they said, who are you? No one. Are you a host? No. Are you in radio? No. I'm just a single mom that I have this project and I want to expose. That's all I wanted to do. Expose and show that there is dreamers out there, that there is ambition for us to be up there. And that got me, I started on the right path. That I came back with a lot of dreams saying I can do this. And I did the crazy thing of selling my house. I put it on the market and I said for 30 days I prayed and I said, if it does sell by the end of the month, that's a good sign. I'm going to go ahead and did it. And it did. Fortunately it did. So then I was in the hole of saying, okay, now I have to do this, right? And so I did. I sold my home and I found, after having my passion, my determination, I went out there and I looked for key people. I surrounded with people that had my values, that had the same dreams that I had. And I looked for a producer, I looked for hosts, and that was very difficult because I needed to understand the message that I wanted to give out there, the message of helping Latinas, the message of connecting worldwide with Latinas, and not only with Latinas, but all different women from all over the world. And help you move your business to the next level with a lot of love and a lot of passion. And that's what I did. I give them a lot of love, a lot of passion, and they're on there. They're very loyal. They don't leave me. And sometimes, I think I'm the only radio station that has connected everybody from different radio stations. I have people from Univision, Telemundo, Azteca, and they're making top dollars on those stations. And I was only able to pay them $100 at that time, and they accepted. Why they accepted? Because of the value that I wanted to put out there, the value, the need of what we needed out there, what was needed. We have a lot of radio stations in Spanish, we do. but I just didn't feel that I was part of that radio station. I didn't feel that I could connect. It wasn't just me. So I couldn't connect for some reason. I said, no, I'm not the morra, I'm not the naca, I'm not this. You know, where are my businesswomen? They're out there. They're out there. So that's what I wanted to expose. You know, these awesome businesswomen that were out there, that were killing it, that were knocking, that were just being so successful, and nobody knew about them. So that's what my radio station is all about. It's about dreamers, it's about connecting women, it's about providing guidance for other women to empower themselves and do what they need to do to be a success. And but one of the big things that helped me out too was I made it also to the White House a year ago. And so I got invited by the ambassador of Mexico, and we were there. And I took a host. I said, can I do interviews? And they said, most likely you can try, but we don't know because you're not credited. You're in internet radio. And here it's only CNN, it's Univision, it's, you know, more of the important radio stations. And they said, really? And so I attended one of the dinners, and I was there with one of my hosts that I had taken from Univision. And I saw Mr. Mark Feinstein on stage. And Mr. Mark Feinstein was the special assistant to President Obama at that time. And I heard his story, and I said, I want to interview him. And she said, it's impossible. You're not CNN. They're not going to give it to you. He's not going to give you the interview. And he's got Secret Service behind him. So there's no way you're going to get past him. So I looked at his story, and I said, he has to, because he speaks Spanish, and he knows how Latinos, how important they are. He's in charge of the Western Hemisphere for Latin America and for Mexico. So the need of what I was trying to put on a platform, he was the perfect person to have as a special guest. So I did. When he was coming out of that stage, and I was in a room with 250 of the most powerful men from Mexico, I didn't care at that time. My need was so strong to get that message out there that I did. I trapped him, and I spoke to him, I grabbed him, and he said, and who's your radio station? And I said, Latino Inc. What does it do? And I said, it empowers women and Latinos. And he said, but what can I do? And I said, you speak Spanish. You were a journalist. You lived in Guanajuato. You purchased a bike in Guanajuato, and you drove in a bike. So women need to know how you got to this position. But I want it in Spanish.